we'll finish out here with our final thoughts. Why don't you take it away here, Ryan, and tell us what we're talking about here today.
Final thought. You like that?
It's beautiful.
No, so like I said, so Zach was talking about final thoughts. That's how we close out every show. It's our final segment that we do here on our podcast. Look, it sometimes it's sports related, sometimes it's not sports related. Doesn't matter what it is, just something that we think of, in the days and sometimes hours prior to the podcast. This week, Zach, I wanted to talk about, look, obviously we've made mention of it, and everyone knows that Thanksgiving is Thursday. And what does Thanksgiving bring us? It brings us the 3 Fs: family, food, and, of course, football. And football on Thanksgiving is as American as hamburgers and hot dogs and all that good stuff, fireworks, 4th of July, all that stuff. Thanksgiving Day football memories is what I wanted to talk about. And it's funny because, and that's why I love talking sports with you, is both of our number one Thanksgiving Day game memories is the same game. It's that Randy Moss game against the Cowboys. And if I remember correctly, I believe it was like raining that day too. I remember because like the turf back in the old Texas Stadium was like, it was like puddling every time Randy Moss would run. It would like the water would splatter up. I know that's really weird to remember, but I was saying to you before the show, I think at one point he had 3 catches for like 173 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was ridiculous. That game he had was just absolutely mind-boggling. I wish Randy Moss was playing now, because when he was playing, I didn't have an appreciation for how good he was because I was so young. He was a freak.
Yeah, he was amazing to watch. And that game really stood out to me too, because I remember we were watching it at one place. I want to say my grandma's. And then we went to my uncle's during the game. And it was like when we were there at the first location, Randy Moss was already dominating, and I was just like, I can't believe how he was tearing apart the Cowboys. And then we went to the other place, and as soon as we got there, he had just scored another touchdown. And then while I was there, he scored another touchdown. Like, it was incredible. And there was nothing the Cowboys could do. It seemed like that he just was easily the best player on the field, just such a dominant athlete, and just stood out so much from everybody else.
So it was 1998. It's funny, Randall Cunningham was the quarterback that day for the Vikings back in that season. And Randy Moss had 3 I was close. He had 3 catches for 163 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's crazy. What's even more crazy is the game Chris Carter had as well. Chris Carter had 7 catches, 135 yards, and a touchdown. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. The Vikings ended up, obviously, with those numbers, winning that game 46-36 in a shootout. So that was the year they went to the NFC Championship game. That win on Thanksgiving put them at 11-1. That team was fun to watch. That team was stacked that year, I remember. So that's definitely, when I think of Thanksgiving Day football, and obviously you do too, that's my number one memory. Another memory, Zach, which was 2013, I believe, 2012 or 2013. I want to say it was 2013. It was Chip Kelly and the Mark Sanchez-led Eagles going into Dallas Stadium. And
it was actually 2014.
14? Okay, thank you. It was that game when they basically pounded the Cowboys. I remember Mark Sanchez leading them on 2 touchdown drives in the first two drives of the game. Connected with Jordan Matthews on the first one, and look, they really didn't look back. And that, I mean, at that point too, that was a really big game in the grand scheme of things of the NFC East. Eagles ended up winning 33-10. They got up 14-0 early, like I said. Mark Sanchez, 20 of 29, 217 yards and a touchdown. LaShawn McCoy, he had a really big day, 25 attempts, 159 and a touchdown. And then I want to say that brought them to because coming into that game, each team was 8-3. So that bumped the Eagles to first place at 9-3, dropped the Cowboys to 8-4. Long story short, Cowboys actually ended up going on to win the division, and Eagles did not make the playoffs that year. So that game stood out to me too, just because of the magnitude of it. Both teams tied, first place on the line, Thanksgiving Day game, nationally televised, and the Eagles pounded the Cowboys. So that was a big one for me. You got any other ones that stick out to you, man?
I have one more, a little bit different from some of the others. I was going through reviewing something. There were just not a lot of Cowboys games specifically that stood out to me. But 2 years ago, me and a bunch of my friends, we entered a turkey bowl tournament, and Bonesaw went undefeated.
What?
The first year that we entered that tournament.
What tournament was it? What was it? What tournament was it?
It was called the Turkey Bowl. I got a T-shirt from it.
Oh,
I
thought you guys played
from winning.
You guys played football? Or was it just like a
It was just one Thanksgiving. We've done it. We're doing it again this year. This will be our third year doing it. But yeah, the first year it was one of our friends. I think it was his church that hosted it or something like that. It's a local tournament around us that we ended up doing, and it was so much fun. It was hilarious. There were people we knew on some of the other teams, and just a great start to Thanksgiving to go out, play football.
Yeah.
Now I'm legitimately hungry. I eat my Thanksgiving meal, and what a day. Then I watch some football, play some football in the morning, watch some football. And then my uncle and his high school friends, they do a big football game the day after Thanksgiving. So I get some of my own football playing.
There you go. Nice.
Every single year when it comes to Thanksgiving. But to go back to the NFL topic, I just remember growing up with Barry Sanders still playing in the NFL on the Lions, who always played every single Thanksgiving. He was just so incredible to watch.
Yep.
And I remember having the argument, I was still pretty young, with my uncle that he was telling me I shouldn't cheer for the Lions because they were battling with the Cowboys for a wild card position at the time. And I was like, Barry Sanders, he's just too amazing to not cheer for, man.
Dude, he was a freak. He definitely was. Another one of them players. I wish I was a little older so I could appreciate how good he was. But I remember watching him as a kid, just in awe of the way he could start and stop on a dime, and just he was just an absolutely ridiculous talent. One of those guys that you won't see ever again. Definitely a lot of good Thanksgiving football memories, NFL or pickup style. So that's awesome. I thought that would have been a pretty fun thing to talk about. Get some turkey football discussion there. So good stuff, Zach. Anything else that you want to bring up before we wrap things up here?
That's all I got, man. We're heading into this Thanksgiving week. It should be a fun time. Like I said, I'm playing in a couple of football games. We'll be watching football with some of those games on Thursday. We'll be not watching the Giants and Redskins game on Thursday. And it should be a great week here. As we mentioned at the beginning, my last day of work was today on Tuesday. So I got the rest of the week here to see some friends, see some family, have great times. So hopefully everyone else enjoys their holiday, no matter how long or short it is. Enjoy time being with people that you enjoy being with, your family, your friends, whoever it is you spend time with, and have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, absolutely. I echo the same sentiment as Zach. Zach and I actually will be at a Friendsgiving on Friday. So I'm looking forward to that. It will be our first one, actually, with this group of people. Then I have another one on Saturday. So pretty busy, pretty fun time lining up here. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. We hope you enjoy your time with your friends and your family. However you spend it, enjoy it. And we look forward to doing this again next week on the Lifelong Rivals Sports Podcast. Thanks, guys.
There we go. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for listening to the Lifelong Rivals Sports Podcast. We really appreciate it. We've changed some things up based on some of the feedback we've received, so we'd love to continue hearing your feedback. As we continue to build this platform with our podcast, it's very helpful to us if you can share it with the people you know that you think would be interested. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and have a great week.